Hello scholars, welcome to Dakshina classroom. Today we are going to start a new chapter, that is your alternating current. Now if you remember, in the last lecture of last chapter, that is electromagnetic induction, lecture number 8, we had talked about how AC current is generated, or we also talked about that what is the DC current and what is AC current, and what are the basic definitions of your AC and DC current, how you can basically recognize AC or DC. If you remember, we had talked about that there can be many forms of AC current, but we will focus on one type of AC, that is sinusoidal AC. So let us talk about what are the topics we are going to cover in today's lecture, that is the first lecture of your alternating current. So first thing that we will talk about, even if we have already talked about what is AC, what is DC, since we are starting a new chapter, alternating current, we will talk about a little bit more about what is alternating current. Alternating current. That is the first thing we will talk about, even though we have already talked about this in the last lecture of last chapter. Now, second thing we will talk about is what is average current in case of alternative. So we will be focusing on alternating current, and the second thing we will talk about how we can calculate average of an alternating current, because alternating current changes its direction. So we will see what is average current in case of an AC. Okay. And the third thing that we will talk about is something called RMS current. Now why RMS current is relevant, how we calculate it, that we will all talk about this. So third thing will be something called RMS current. Full form it is written as root mean square current. We will see what is root mean square current and why it is important when we are studying alternating current. So pause the video, note these points, then we will start discussing of your alternating current. So first let us recap what is alternating current. We have already talked about alternating current in the last lecture of previous chapter. Now if you remember, in the last lecture we talked about that any current which regularly changes its direction. For example, we are trying to define what is alternating current. So let us take an example. So let us try to take an example that this is the current axis, this is the time axis, like this. And let us say current is like this. Like this. So at a regular interval, let us say this is 0, this is 1, this is 2 and so on. So after every 1 second, the direction of current changes, even though the magnitude of the current remains same. So let us say that this is I naught and this is minus I naught. So even though magnitude of the current remains same, after every 1 second what is happening? The direction of current is changing. So this current will be called an alternating current. So if you want to write the definition of what is alternating current, you can simply say that any current which changes its direction of flow at regular intervals, that is called your alternating current. Now, there can be different ways of alternating current. Remember, alternating current not only this way. There is another way alternating current can vary. This is T, this is I, and let us say current is varying like this. So this is I naught, this is minus I naught, like this. So let us say that this time is pi by omega, this time is 2 pi by omega, and so on. So in this case, my alternating current is varying sinusoidally, and after every pi by omega time, pi by not 2, pi by omega time, the direction of current is changing. So this is called sinusoidal AC, meaning your alternating current is varying sinusoidally. So here, what can be the general equation of this form of current? If you remember, we have already studied how we generate sinusoidal AC. What is the AC generator? That we have already studied. So if you remember, standard form standard form for this kind of AC may be written as I equals I naught sine of omega t, like this, where I naught is the maximum value of current, omega is the angular frequency, okay, and time period for this you can write simply T is equal to 2 pi by omega, meaning after every 2 pi by omega your cycle repeats. So in this chapter of alternating current, now remember, alternating current may have various forms. This is also alternating current, this is also alternating current, and if you draw another diagram, let us say this is time, this is current, and let us say current is flowing like this, and so on. So this will also be an alternating current. So even though alternating current may take various forms, in your syllabus, in your chapter of alternating current, we will be focusing on sinusoidal AC, alternating current which varies in the shape of sinusoidal current, whose standard equation may be written as I equals I naught sine omega t, like that. So if in this way alternating current is varying, that will be called sinusoidal AC, and this is the current that we will be talking about in detail in this lecture. So pause the video, you can draw the diagram, then we will start discussing various properties starting with average of AC current. Now let us talk about what is your average current. In order to understand what is an average current, let us take a look at this circuit. Here I have a resistor connected across a power source. What kind of that source is that we are not concerned with right now. It can be a battery, it can be a generator, it can be anything. That we are not concerned with. Right now we are trying to discuss what is your average current. Now let us suppose I take this cross section of this wire. Cross section of this wire. Now since the current is flowing, what will happen? Some amount of charge will be crossing through this section, cross section of the wire. So in case if you remember, we talk about average velocity, average speed and all that. So how do we calculate? So if I want average current, I average. Now what is current actually? Current, if you remember, we define current as rate of flow of charge through a cross section per unit time. So if I talk about this cross section, let us say for a given amount of time, delta Q charge flows through that cross section. So I average can be written as, let us say delta Q current flows in how much time? In delta T time. So if in delta T time, delta Q current flows through this cross section, then average current can be simply written as what? Your delta Q divided by delta T. Now remember, when we talk about delta Q, so we have to define one direction as positive, other as negative. So for example, let us say I take clockwise direction. If the charge, positive charge flows clockwise, we will take positive. If it is flows anti-clockwise, we will take negative. So your average current is nothing but net charge flowing through a cross section in a given amount of time. So let us say I tell you that find me the average current from 0 to 5. Then what you will simply do? You will find that what is the total charge flowing through this and what is the time taken, that is 0 to 5 seconds. That will be your average current. So let us first solve a question based on this simple definition of average. Then we will move on to the AC current average. Right now we are trying to define a general definition of what is average current. So general definition is delta Q divided by delta T. That is your general definition. So let us try to solve a question. Very easy question based on what is your average current. So here I have a diagram. For this, let us suppose, for this circuit, I have a graph of current versus time. So graph of current versus time, it goes something like this. Let us say I, T, this is 10 ampere. This is your minus 10. That is 0, 1, 2, 3. So for example, for the given circuit, this circuit, if I try to plot the current versus time graph, now what kind of power sources, that we are not concerned with. So if I try to draw the graph of current versus time, the graph looks something like this. And I am asked, find the average. Find I average from 0 to 3 seconds. That is the very simplest of questions. So simple. What is average current? Average current is total charge flowing through a cross section divided by total time, that is your average. Now if I talk about how do we find the total charge from the I versus t graph. So if you remember velocity versus time graph, yeah, speed versus time graph. If I ask you, find me the total distance covered from the speed versus time graph, what you will do? You will find the area. Same case, if I ask you what is the displacement from the velocity versus time graph, you will find the area under the graph and that will be your velocity. So here that will be your displacement. So here we have a current versus time graph. So what will be the total charge? Total charge flowing through a cross section when we talk about 0 to 3 will be nothing but total area under the IT curve. So delta Q. What will be delta Q? Delta Q will be the area under the curve. That will be delta Q. So let us find the area under the curve. But remember, whenever you are talking about area of the IT curve, now current has a direction. So if you consider 0 to 2 seconds, current will be flowing in this direction. So charge will also be flowing in that direction. Positive. We are assuming that this direction clockwise is positive. And if we talk about 2 to 3, current becomes negative, meaning charge will be flowing in anti-clockwise. So you will have to take the area with sign, meaning in this section area will be positive, in this section area will be negative. So let us try to find what is the total area. So what is the area from 0 to 2? Half, time is 2 seconds and peak is 10. So 10 plus. Here it will be negative. So let us write this as minus. Minus of half, how much is time? 1 second, and 10 is the highest. After that, current will again go like this, but that is not given, so we will not be talking about that. So here, what is total area? Half common, 20 minus 10, which is 10. So half times 10, which is 5 coulomb. So total charge cross through a cross section in time 0 to 3 is how much? 5 coulomb. But remember, 10 coulomb will be in that direction and minus 5 opposite. So total charge will be 5 coulomb. Now if you want to know the I average, so I average is nothing but delta Q divided by delta T. What is delta Q? 5 coulomb. What is time? 3 seconds. So I average will be nothing but 5 coulomb divided by 3 seconds. So 5 by 3 ampere. So total average current from 0 to 3 will be 5 by 3 ampere. Now remember, if you change the time period, for example, let us say I tell you find the average current from 0 to 2 seconds, then that will be different from 0 to 3. So in case of alternating current like this, generally what happens, if you change the time period from 0 to 2, average will be different. From 0 to 3, average will be different. From 0 to 1, average will be different. So if I change the time slot, your average current will also change. For example, in case of speed or velocity, from if you change the time cap, then your average velocity, average speed also changes like that here also. So your homework will be in this diagram, find the average current from 0 to 1 and from 0 to 2. In those two cases, you will have to find the average current. Pause the video, note it down, then we will discuss further. Now that we have seen what is the general definition of average current, now let us talk about how we can calculate average current in case of an AC source. So here I have a circuit, simple circuit is there, just resistance R. There is a AC current source. Let us say that EMF supplied is E0 sine omega t. that is the EMF supplied by this source, and there is a current flowing. And here I have drawn the graph of current versus time. Now this is the graph of current versus time in this circuit. If I want to calculate what is the average current in case of this AC circuit, then general concept of average current will always be same. General concept. What is the general concept? That any total current crossing through any cross section for a given time, that is the average current for that time period. So what is the general equation of an alternating current? General equation is I is equal to I naught sin omega t, where I naught is the maximum current, omega is the angular frequency, and I is the instantaneous current at a given time. That is your general equation. Now if I want to find the average current, so let us write that I average. Now I average is sometimes also written as I bar in some cases. Now I average, we have already studied I average is nothing but delta Q divided by delta T. That is always true. If you want to know the general value, average value, that is always delta Q by delta T. In case of average velocity, delta displacement divided by delta time. If you want to know the average acceleration, same way. So average is always same. Now, how do we find delta Q in this case? How do we calculate what is delta Q? Now remember, in case of current and in case of variable current, what do we write? Instantaneous current is write as how? I is written as dq by dt. Can I write I as dq by dt? Correct? Now, I can also write dq is nothing but I dt. Correct? And if I want to know what is the total charge flowing from time t1 to t2, let us say from 3 seconds to 5 seconds, then what I will do? I will integrate this from 0 to q, and I will integrate this from t1 to t2 like this. That I can do. So here this will become your delta q, and this will be your total charge flowing. So total charge flowing, when you know the current, can be what? For example, let us say I ask you what is the total charge flowing from T2 to T. What you will simply say? You will simply say, sir, that this is the area under the curve and that is my total charge flown from a given cross section. And how do you find the area under the curve? If I give you a VT curve, then how do you find the area under the curve? Area under the curve is nothing but integration of V dt from T1 to T2. So that's how we are doing it. So delta Q will be nothing but integration of I dt. This is your area under the curve from time t1 to time t2 of IT curve. So if I want to know the dq is this. And what is total time? Total time is nothing but delta t. Delta t will be nothing but simply dt. That will be again from t1 to t2. So if you want to know I average, so for any curve, remember this we are talking about general definition. This is applicable for every type of curve, whether it is AC or DC or any type of curve. This is applicable for average. Now, so here I average may be written as delta Q. What is delta Q? Nothing but area under the curve. What is area under the curve? Delta Q is nothing but I dt from T1 to T2. That is your area. So integration T1 to T2 I dt, that is your total charge flown divided by time taken. Again integration T1 to T2, your not I dt, simply dt. So that is your total time. So average current under any condition may be written as like this. This will be your general definition of I average. So if you want to find I average under any graph, does not matter it is your AC or with any other kind of graph, what you can simply do, I average is nothing but, here let us erase this, integration T1 to T2. What is T1? Whenever average is asked, they will give you a time period. For example, 3 to 5 seconds or 7 to 10 seconds or 0 to 10 seconds, like that. So T1 to T2 from starting point to finish point, I dt. So remember this numerator is what? This numerator is nothing but area under the IT curve. And what is this? T1 to T2 dt. This is nothing but total time period. For example, T1 to T2 like that. So that will be your general definition of area under the curve divided by total time, that is I average. Pause the video, note it down. Now let us discuss what will be your average current in case of an AC source. Whenever there is a AC source, AC current, what will be average in that case? So there is a very interesting conclusion from this that we will talk about. So we have already seen that in case of any type of current, average can be written like this. That is area under the curve, that is nothing but total charge flown divided by total time, that is your average. Now, in case of AC, that I can be written as how? I can be written as I naught sine omega t. That is the standard form of AC current, sinusoidal AC. Correct. Now, so I average may be written as integrating T1 to T2, I, what is I? I naught. I naught sine omega t dt. That is your total charge flown divided by total time. T1 to T2 dt. That is your total current. Now, what is your integration of sine omega t? Now, this is purely mathematical form. So, integration you should know. So, integration, this is very simple integration. So, I naught is a constant. I naught you can take outside. So, what you will get? I average is nothing but I naught I have taken outside. Now, sine omega t. Integration of sine omega t. Now, remember, sine is the differentiation of cos. So, sine omega t integration should be cos. So, that integration will be minus of omega cos of omega t, like this. From where to where? From T1 to T2, like this. And divided by dt. dt integration is nothing but t. So that will be T2 minus T1, like this. So that will be your average. Now, if I talk about from 0 to t, let us say I say that integration we have to take average from 0 second to some time t. So if I consider that T1 is 0, meaning I am starting to take average from 0 second. And let us say I say that we want to take the average for one time period. What is one time period? One time period is nothing but from 0 to capital T. And what is capital T in case of sinusoidal AC? Capital T is nothing but 2 pi by omega. So let us consider T1 to be 0 and T2 to be capital T, that is one time period. So let us write. So I average will be equal to minus of I naught by omega, T2 minus T, that will be capital T, like this. Cos of omega times T, and what is T here? T we are taking as 2 pi by omega. Now remember, that is not always the case. For that particular case we are considering, let us say that T1 is 0 and T2 is 2 pi by omega, like this. So omega times 2 pi by omega. Omega omega cancel. Cos of 2 pi. And what is cos of 2 pi? Cos of 2 pi is 1. So cos of 2 pi is 1. So 1. Now T1 is 0. Omega times 0. What is cos of 0? Cos of 0 is also 1. So 1 minus 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. I average is 0. So for one time period completely, your average current is 0. You can also draw this conclusion from the graph. See, from the graph you can see for 0 to t by 2, this is the shape above the time axis. From t by 2 to t, below the time axis. And both are similar, just inverted. So this area is equal to this area, just opposite in sign. So total area from 0 to capital T will be 0. So for a sinusoidal AC, you can write here as a conclusion for a sinusoidal AC. Let us write that for a sinusoidal AC, I average for one time period. What is one time period? 2 pi by omega. Delta t is 2 pi by omega. For a sinusoidal AC, I average for one time period is always 0. Why it is always 0? Because for one half current will be positive, for other half it will be negative. So these two areas are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. So it does not matter you take 0 to t. Let us say that I ask you find me the average from 3t to 4t. So that will also be 0. If I ask, let us say, for 4t to 8t, that will also be 0, because for every t it will be 0. So not only for delta t is 2 pi by omega, but also for every multiple of delta t, every multiple of your 2 pi by omega, integer multiple, remember, for every integer multiple of 2 pi by omega also, your I average for a sinusoidal AC will be 0. Pause the video, note it down, then we will discuss further. So we have just derived that for any given time period t1 to t2, if you want to know the average value of a sinusoidal AC, then it can be calculated like this, that we have already derived how this came to be. So I naught is the maximum current, omega is the angular frequency, t1 is the starting point of time, t2 is the end point of time, and cos omega t, that like this. Now, so let us say that my time period, that delta t we are talking about, that I average nothing but delta q by delta t, that delta t is very large. Let us say 100 second, 200 second, 2 hours, like that. So let us say that for very large period of time, meaning del t2 minus t1, this is your delta t, right? So you can also write it like this, I average is nothing but minus of I naught divided by omega times delta t, that is nothing but delta t. So like this, and like cos of omega t, your t1 to t2 integration. Now if delta t is very large, let us say if delta t is very large, now if delta t is very large, meaning what? Your denominator is very large value, denominator has a very large value. But if you pay attention, what about numerator? You may say that, sir, if time period is very large, numerator also will increase. But no. You see here, numerator is a cos function, cos of omega t. And what can be the maximum value of a cos function? Maximum value of cos function can be 1. So here, your numerator cannot exceed I naught. So if numerator cannot exceed I naught and denominator can keep on increasing, the larger the time period, the larger is your denominator. So if I take, let us suppose, find me the average current from 0 second to 2 hours. So that is a very long period of time, but numerator can never exceed I naught. So if denominator is very large and numerator is fixed, then a fixed value divided by a very large value will be what? Will be approximately equal to 0. So over a large period of time, any period of time, for example, let us say 0 to 2 hours, 0 to 3 hours, 0 to 2.1 hour. So over a large period of time, average current will always be 0 in case of sinusoidal AC. Now remember why we are saying that it will be always be 0, because your denominator becomes very large and numerator cannot exceed I naught because it is a sine function or cos function. So if numerator cannot exceed that value and denominator keeps on increasing, so if delta t is very large, then denominator becomes very large, and if the denominator becomes very large, then your average current becomes 0. So what we will say? We will say for a large delta t, for a large delta t, I average is always 0. Now how do you say that delta t, okay sir, delta t is very large. How do we say that delta t is large? Now that you can compare by the time period. What is time period? Here let us say time period is nothing but 2 pi by omega. So how do you judge whether your delta t is very large or not? So if delta t is very large, meaning what? Your delta t is very greater than your time period. What is time period? 2 pi by omega. So if delta t is very greater than capital T, then you can say it is very large period of time, and for that period of time your I average is always 0. Why? Because denominator is very large but numerator has a finite value. Pause the video, note it down, then we will solve a question based on this. Now let us try to solve a question based on average value of a sinusoidal AC. Now here it is a simple question, but we will try to solve it different time periods. The time period of an AC current which is given as I is equal to 5 ampere sin omega t is 4 seconds. So time period capital T is 2 pi by omega, which is equal to 4 seconds. Find average current for the following time periods. So as I have said before, average current may vary for different time periods. So let us say first example or first section A. So first option is find the average current from 0 second to 20 second. Now for one whole time period from 0 to 4, average current will be what? 0. 4 to 8 again 0, 8 to 12 again 0, 12 to 16 again 0, 16 to 20 again 0. So if your time gap is a multiple of your time period, that is 2 pi by omega, integral multiple. So 0 to 20 second, it is the chunks of 4 second. From 0 to 4 it will be 0, from 4 to 8 it will be 0, and so on. So in this case also I average will be 0. Why? Because here your delta t is an integral multiple of how many? 5 times t. Your delta t is 5 times t, and for one time period it is 0. So here it is 0. So for first case I average is 0. I average 0. What about second case B? From 0 to 2 second. Now second case will be a little bit interesting, difficult also. Now from 0 to 2 second, that is half time period. There you cannot say that sir it will be 0. So what is your general formula? I average is nothing but minus of I naught divided by omega times delta t cos of omega t from t1 to t2. Now how it comes to be, that we have already derived, no need to write every time. So here I have initial time t1 to be 0 second here and final time t2 to be 2 second. But remember 2 pi by omega is 4. 2 pi by omega is 4 second. So 2 second will be what? 2 second will be nothing but pi by omega. So here let us write initial time to be 0 and final time to be pi by omega. Because we know that 2 pi by omega is 4, so pi by omega is 2 second. So like this. Now what will be I average? So I average is nothing but I naught divided by delta t is already 2 second. So twice omega. Now cos of omega times t, and what is t? Pi by omega. Omega cancel, cos pi. What is cos pi? Cos 0 is 1, cos pi is minus 1. So minus 1. 0, what is cos 0? 1. So minus of 1, like this. So this is minus 1, this is minus 1, minus of 2, minus this cancel. So minus minus cancel, 2 cancel. So I average comes out to be how much? I naught divided by omega. So that is I average for half, for 0 to 2 second. So here I average comes out to be I naught by omega. So if you see here, for every different time period, that delta t, for every different delta t, your average current is different. Okay. Let us talk about third case. From 1 to 3 second. See, from 1 to 3. In this graph, that can be said to be from here, that is 1 second, 2 second, 3 second. Here. If you pay attention, that delta t value in second option, B option, delta t is 2 second. In C option also, delta t is 2 second. Now let us see that if delta t is same, will the average current be same? Let us see. So same value, let us write here. I average is nothing but minus of I naught by 2 omega cos of omega t t1 to t2. Now what is 1 second? 2 pi by omega is 4. Pi by omega is 2. So 1 second is nothing but pi by 2 omega. Pi by 2 omega is 1 second. Like this. And what is 3 second? 3 pi by 2 omega. So in case of t1, you can write pi by 2 omega. Or in case of t2, you can write 3 pi by 2 omega. Like this. Now put the values. Cos of omega times 3 pi by 2. Cos 3 pi by 2. Cos 3 pi by 2 is 0. Cos of omega times pi by 2 omega. Cos pi by 2. What is cos pi by 2? 0. So this is minus of I naught by 2 omega. 0 minus 0. So how much is this? 0. Because you see here, this part is positive. This part is negative. So same area, one is positive, one is negative, total is 0. So here also 0. So if you pay attention, in the C case also delta t is 2 second. 1 to 3 second, 2 second. In the second case also delta t is 2 second. So time delta t is same in both the B option and C option. But average current in both the cases different. So only based on delta t you cannot say what will be the average current. If that delta t is very small. Meaning, for example, here it is 2 second. 2 second is comparable to time period, right? So if that delta t is comparable to time period, then for different starting and ending point, your average current may come out to be different. Let us talk about last option. What is last option? D. Now here 1 hour to 5 hour. So what is your delta t? Delta t is 4 hours. How many seconds in 1 hour? Remember 60 minutes per minute 60 seconds. So 3600. So 4 hours is nothing but 3600 multiplied by 4. That is how much? Your 0044. 14400 seconds. Now 14400 seconds is obviously very greater than your time period. And what is your time period? 4 seconds. So 14400 seconds is very greater than time period. So in this case, your I average can be taken as to be 0. You need not calculate because here it is very greater than your time period. So that way you can find average current in case of sinusoidal AC. Pause the video, note it down. Let us solve one more question based on average current, then we will move on to the RMS current. Now here the question is, average voltage of a 50 Hz AC source is calculated for a time interval of 0.01 second. Now whatever formula definition we have studied for average current, same can be applied on average voltage. So it must be for, so there are 3 options and you have to find average current for 0.01 second. So let us say that this is my graph, just replace current with EMF. So here it is E naught. Here it is minus of E naught, like this. Now, so average voltage. So in this case also for one time period, average voltage will be 0. For a very large time interval, average voltage will be 0. Now, it is given 0.01 second. So first thing you need to do, you will need to find what is the relation of delta t. This is your delta t. What is the relation of delta t with capital T? Now, what is frequency? We have already studied frequency is nothing but 1 by time period. That is nothing but omega divided by twice of pi. like this. So if frequency is your 50 hertz, what is your time period? Time period is nothing but 1 by 50. So that is your 1 by frequency is your time period. So 1 by 50 is how much? 1 by 50 is your 0.02 seconds. So here you can say that, sir, my delta t, the time interval for which I have to find average current, that is 0.01 second, which is nothing but time period divided by 2, because your time period is 0.02 second. Okay. So 0.01 second. Now pay attention. We have already solved a question like this in the last question. Their time period was 4 seconds, and in the two questions my gap time interval was 2 seconds. Time period 4 seconds, time period interval 2 seconds. Now, so here let us say this is 2 seconds, this is 2 seconds. Okay, not 2 seconds, 0.01 second. Okay. Now if you pay attention once again, if I take half the time period, remember my time interval is time period by 2. So if I take from here to here, my average will not be 0. If I take here to here, then also my average will not be 0. But if I take from this point to this point, what about then? Then my average may be 0. Let us take the first example. I take from t by 4 to 3t by 4. What is delta t in this case? T by 2. That is your delta case. So from here to here, t by 2 delta t, that will be 0 average. Let us take another example. Second case. From 0 to t by 2. From here to here, positive, not 0. Let us take another example. Third example. From, let us say, t by 2 to t. From here to here, negative average. So depending upon what is your starting point, what is your end point, your average may change for the same time interval. Time interval will remain same, but depending upon from where you start and from where you finish, for the same given time period, your I average may change. So in this case we have seen, in this case, first case, from this point to this point, because again this area is positive, this area is negative. We have already seen in the previous question. So for first case it is 0. For the second case it is positive. For the third case it is negative. In all the three cases my delta t remains same. My time interval remains same, but I average is changing. So here it must be 0? No, it must not be 0. May be 0. Yes, it may be 0. Is never 0. No, we have seen in the first case. From here to here, time period is t by 2. Time interval is t by 2 and it is 0. So it may be 0 depending upon from where to where you are taking that time interval. So whenever this kind of question is asked, for this time interval, maybe, must be, like that. So you have to check. Okay, and like this here you can find that it may be 0, it can be 0, it may not be 0, depending upon where is your starting point, where is your end point. Pause the video, note it down, then we will start the discussion of RMS current. Now let us try to understand what is an RMS current and why there is a need to define a new kind of current. So if you remember, in case of average current, if I take the average of a sinusoidal AC, for example, the power supplied in your homes is a sinusoidal current. So if I take the average of a sinusoidal current for a very long period of time, let us say for time interval of 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, like that. So for that long period of time, average is always 0. And if it is always 0, then how your appliances are working? They should not work because average current is 0. So let us talk about how RMS current comes in the picture. How RMS current is related to the power supplied, that we will talk about later. But first let us talk about what is the RMS current. So let us suppose that I have a current I and I want to find the RMS. Then the first thing I will do is I square. What I will do is square. So what is RMS? Root mean square. Let us write that here. Root mean square. So read it in reverse order. Square mean root. So first thing you need to do, if you have any kind of current, first thing you need to do is square it. So let us say that I have current I. That I may be anything. That I may be a constant. That I may be a AC. That I may be a sinusoidal AC. It can be anything. So first thing I will do is square it. Then what I need to do? I need to take the average of this. Now how do you find the average in this case? In this case, if you want to know the average, what you will do? Integration T1 T2 area under the curve. If I have a curve of I square versus time. Remember, this is not a curve of I. This is a curve of I square versus time. If I want to take the area, what I will do? I square times dt. This is area under the curve. Divided by time taken. So integration T1 to T2 dt. This is what? This is the average of I square. So I square area under the curve divided by time interval. So this is the average of I square. Now the last, you will take root. So I square average, then root. That will be your here. Integration T1 T2 I square dt divided by T1 to T2 delta T. And here you will take root of whole value. So what is your root mean square value? Read it in reverse order. Whenever you have a current, any kind of current, first thing you do, you square the current. Second thing you do, you take the average of that current. Third thing you do, you take the root of that value. So first I square dt average, area under the curve, divided by dt, T1 to T2, that is I square average, then you take the root value. So let us try to solve a very easy question. A very easy question based on your I square root. Root means square. Now remember, as I have said, this I can be any current. So let us say a very simple question. A constant current, very easy question. A constant current of 2.8 ampere flows through a circuit. Find IRMS. Very easy. Now, how do we find? Here I can be anything. So here if IRMS, I is constant. Here if this I is constant, then this will come outside. So what you will write? I square IRMS will be equal to this value. And if this I is constant, you can take it outside. And if you take it outside, that will be nothing but 2.8 square times power 1 by 2. And inside, what will be left? Inside it will be left dt integration T1 to T2 divided by T1 to T2 dt power 1 by 2. And if numerator and denominator is same, that will be 1. And here 2.8 square power 1 by 2 is 2.8. So I square RMS is nothing but 2.8 ampere. Meaning, for a constant current, for a constant DC current, IRMS will be same as your value of the current. And what about I average? I average will also be same. For example, if you are moving with a constant speed, what is your average speed? Same as the constant speed. So in case of a constant DC current, so here you can write for constant DC. For constant DC, you can say IRMS equals I equals I average. So if you have a constant DC current like this, I average, current, IRMS, all the three values are same. They are not changing. Pause the video, note it down. Then we will discuss further that how we can use this formula on sinusoidal AC. Now let us try to find RMS value for a sinusoidal AC current. Now, what is standard form? I is equal to I naught sine omega t. So you need to find root mean square. Then the first thing you do is what? You square the current. So let us square. So this is I square, here it will be I naught square, here it will be sine square omega t, that is square. Second, you need to take average. So I square average will be how much? Here, how you will do it? Integration T1 to T2, I naught square sine square omega t dt, and whole divided by T1 to T2 and here dt. That is your average of I square. And the last thing you will do, you will take under root. So under root you will take later on. First let us try to find what is this. Now here I naught square is a constant value. I naught is what? I naught is the maximum current of your sinusoidal AC current. So I naught square you can take outside. You will get what? I square average is nothing but I naught square. Here sine square omega t. Now how do you integrate sine square omega t? Now sine square omega t, if you want to know the integration, if you remember, this is pure math, sine square theta. How I can write sine square theta? Sine square theta may also be written as 1 minus cos of 2 theta divided by 2. If you remember this, so cos 2 theta is cos square theta minus sine square theta, and 1 is cos square theta plus sine square theta. So cos will be cancelled, sine square theta will be left, divided by 2, so sine square theta. So this can be written like this. So here what is integration dt t1 to t2? Nothing but t2 minus t1. So let us write that here, t2 minus t1 like this. And what will be this integration? This integration will be 1 minus cos sine square theta may be written as integration t1 to t2 1 minus cos of twice of omega t divided by 2 cos 2 theta, correct? Yes, dt. Now like this. So this is pure mathematics. If you know, you know. Now so let us take 2 also outside. So it will be I naught square divided by twice of delta t, and here 1 integration dt will be t. It will be t. Cos of 2 omega t. Cos of 2 omega t integration will be what? It will be your minus of 1 by 2 omega sine of twice omega t, like this. From where to where? From t1 to t2, like this. Now what will be it for one time period? So first pause the video, note it down, then we will solve what will be this I square average for one time period. So this is your I square average for a given time interval starting at t1 and ending at time t2. Now what if that time interval is for one time period? That is, if I start from t equals 0 and if I end at time capital T for one time period. Now for one time period I can simply write I square average is nothing but I naught square divided by twice of time period, which is capital T. Now what will be this value? This value is T. So capital T minus 0, that is T, minus of 1 by twice of omega. Now what is sine of 2 omega t? Twice of omega times t, and t is your capital T. Capital is 2 pi by omega. Omega cancel. What is left? Sine of 4 pi. Sine of 4 pi minus of 0, sine 0. Sine 0 is 0, so don't write it. Now what is sine of 4 pi? Sine 0 is 0, sine 2 pi is 0, sine 4 pi is 0, sine 6 pi is 0. So this value is 0. So if this value is 0, I square average is nothing but I naught square divided by 2. Because here t cancel 2. So I naught square average is I square average is I naught square by 2. So what is root of this value? I square average and root of entire value. That is nothing but under root of I naught square divided by 2. So from here you can write IRMS, root mean square. First square, then average, then root. IRMS is nothing but I naught divided by root. So IRMS is calculated for one time period. For one time period it is calculated to be I naught by root 2. Now as in the case of I average, in case of I average also, for one time period we calculated it to be 0. And for a very large time interval also it was 0. So here for delta t, time interval to be very greater than capital T. If delta t is very greater than capital T, then also your IRMS will be I naught by root 2. So IRMS equals I naught by root 2. Then also it is true. So here I have calculated IRMS, first square, then average, then root. So IRMS for a sinusoidal current. Now remember, sinusoidal current is not only sine omega t. If I write like this, I is nothing but I naught cos omega t. That also is called sinusoidal AC only. And for that also your current will, IRMS will be I naught by root 2 only over a long period of time. Now, so I have calculated your IRMS for this, for one time period. And for a long period of time also it will be same value. Now your homework. I have calculated it for 0 to capital T in this graph. Your homework will be find IRMS for T1 to be 0 and T2 to be capital T by 2. Meaning I have calculated from here to here. You have to calculate from this point to this point, capital T by 2. That is your homework. I have already shown you how you can calculate, what is the process, so you can do it. Pause the video, note it down. Now let us try to solve an easy question based on your IRMS. Here the question is, peak value of an AC current is 5 ampere and its frequency is 60 Hz. Find IRMS and how long will it take for current to reach peak value starting from 0. Now if you remember, IRMS is nothing but I naught by root 2. Now if they have not given any time interval, then you have to assume that they are asking IRMS over a long period of time. So IRMS over a long period of time is I naught by root 2. What is I naught? I naught is your maximum value, that is 5 ampere. So your IRMS will be nothing but 5 divided by root 2 ampere. That is your IRMS value. Very easy. Now second case. How long will it take for current to reach peak value starting from 0? Now what is time period? Time period is nothing but 1 by frequency. And what is frequency? 60 Hz. So 1 by 60 second, that is your time period. Now pay attention to this graph. We are starting from 0. So here it is 0 second, here it is t by 2, here it is t. This point is t by 4, this point is 3t by 4. So starting from 0, how long it takes for current to reach the maximum value? Equals to time period divided by 4. So starting from 0, how long will it take for current to reach the peak value? Capital T by 4. What is capital T? 1 by 60 seconds. So this will be 1 by 240 seconds. Meaning if I start from 0, it will take 1 by 240 seconds for current to reach the maximum value. Very easy question. Pause the video, note it down, then we will discuss another question. Now let us try to solve another question based on your IRMS value. Now here the question is, peak value of an AC current is 5 amperes, same as the previous question. If power supply of 220 volt and 50 hertz is used, then, now if you remember in your homes when the supply comes, generally it is 220 volt 50 hertz, that is the standard supply of your homes. Now what is the meaning of this? Is used, then find the value of resistance in the circuit and maximum EMF in the circuit. So here this is your circuit. Here it is power supply of E0 sin omega t, and here it is R resistance, and some amount of current is flowing I. Now if you remember, whatever we have calculated IRMS for the current, same can be applied on voltage also. So I have calculated, we have discussed, IRMS is nothing but I0 by root 2. If you calculate for voltage also, you will get the same thing, meaning VRMS may also be written as V0 by root 2. So IRMS is I0 by root 2, VRMS is V0 by root 2 for an AC source supply. So when you talk about supply in your homes, so in your home supply is written like this, 220 volt 50 hertz. Then what is this 220 volt? This 220 volt is what? This is maximum EMF or this is VRMS. So this 220 volt is nothing but VRMS. Why it is VRMS? We will talk about. So VRMS is 220. So 220 is nothing but your V0 divided by root 2, like this. So what will be maximum potential or maximum VRMS? V is nothing but, V0 is nothing but 220 times root 2. And root 2 is approximately 1.41. So that will be approximately 311 volts. So in your homes, it is written that VRMS is 220 and frequency is 50 hertz. So what is the maximum EMF supplied, maximum voltage supplied? That is 311 volts. So here maximum EMF, maximum voltage is not 220. This 220 is VRMS. Maximum is 311 volts. Okay. Now what is the resistance in the circuit? Now resistance in the circuit is written as how much? If you remember current, V is equal to IR, Ohm's law. So current is nothing but V divided by R, like this. So what is current? Current is I0 sin omega t. V is V0 sin omega t divided by R. Sin omega t cancel. I0 is nothing but V0 by R. And if I0 is nothing but V0 by R, same can be written for IRMS or VRMS. You can say IRMS is nothing but VRMS divided by R. So remember, this is the case when a resistance is added across an AC power supply. So if I want to know the R, then R is nothing but VRMS divided by IRMS. What is VRMS? 220. What is IRMS? IRMS is 5 by root 2, like this. So what is resistance? Resistance is nothing but 220 divided by 5 root 2. So this is your 220 root 2, which is 311. 311 divided by 5. So your resistance is 311 divided by 5, which is approximately how much? 62. Correct. 62.2 ohms. That much is your resistance in the circuit. Pause the video, note it down. So in this lecture of your alternating current, we have tried to understand the very basic of what is your average current and what is your IRMS. We have not talked about why RMS is needed. When in the next lecture, when we talk about what happens here we have seen what happens when a resistance is connected across a AC source. So in the next lecture, we will talk about when a resistance is connected across an AC source, what is the power developed in a resistance. You have already calculated or studied power developed when a constant DC supply is used. But in the next lecture, we will talk about what happens when a resistance is connected across a AC source, and what is power developed in this case. And then we will talk about what is the significance of your IRMS. Until then, revise your topics, try to solve as many questions as you can, and if you have any doubt, you can ask in your doubt group.